Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syafiqah binti Muhammad Ghani, matric number 264137. I would like to start this presentation with stage 1. First, introduction. The purpose of this study is to make sure all schools at Malaysia compliance with SOP during COVID-19. The most important thing before reopen the school are planning and preparing the SOP. Temperature check and dia must record the attendance in the logbook provide. Those with body temperature above 37.5 Celsius are not allowed to enter the school area. Hand sanitizer must be provided and used at the entrance and exit of the school. The use of face masks are compulsory. Next is research objective. The main objective is to analyze the effect on education of COVID-19. First, measure the SOP compliance at school in Malaysia. Second, identify the school challenge in following the SOP compliance. Third, identify the cause of not following the SOP compliance. Fourth, comparison of SOP compliance between primary and secondary school. I want to talk about problem discovery in this project. First, each student at school really follow the SOP compliance such as temperature check, social distancing, wear a face mask and use a hand sanitizer. Second, do students from primary and secondary school have awareness about this current issue?
Hi, my name is Ong Li Shen and my matric number is 262241. Next, I will explain for the stage 2 of the case study of COVID-19 SOP compliance at the school in Malaysia. The stage 2 is collect data. We do the collect data according to the MOE website with updated June 2020. There are 10,222 schools are registered. When we done the open data, we will categorize the data by state and zone to follow the grouping in Malaysia. After that, we will randomly select 5 schools from each zone to do the observation study. After the 5 schools have been chosen, a very detailed checklist will be listed in the notepad to do the record. Then, 1 or 2 representatives will observe the environment at the school to ensure the SOP compliance are always being followed or otherwise. The observer need to observe overall school environment of every part of the school such as canteen, office, lab, and the classes. This part of the school should be considered most of the students and staff are using in this area when they are out of school. Okay, here is some checklists we can use to observe the students, teacher, and the staff. The first is the shop and clean. They always have a shop and clean water are available at the hand washing station, and then we need to make sure they wash their hand at least 20 seconds to clear the virus. Next is place the hand sanitizer in toilet, classroom, hall, and the near exit or main entrance. The third is use the appropriate equipment to clean the area. Then next, we need to make sure they use the air condition or opening window and open the window. Next, we need to make sure they remove the trash every day. And this is the most important, we need to make sure they wear the face mask. Next, is check the body temperature and make sure they are not exceed 27 degrees. And last, we need to make sure they have social distance at least 1 meter. Lastly, we need to active to ask the question at the school in order to getting more information after the observation is done. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Nur Hidayah binti Warazmi, metric number 264747. I will present stage 3 in sampling design. In this study, first, define the target population. The target population for this study is schools in Malaysia. The current data can be found in the MOE portal. Once the data downloaded, identify the sampling frame based on the data provided. The probability sampling method will be chosen since every population has an equal chance in sample size. As the scoping study is depth understanding, the data is quite large. We will sort the data with divide all the schools into states and cluster it into 5 regions. Next, the data from each region will select randomly with using mean estimation formula. We choose randomly 200 schools from actual data and find the best 5 schools from secondary and primary schools to make comparison of SOP compliance. Lastly, the study can be conducted by making sure the 5 schools selected just now is to minimize the cost. This is how we calculate the sample size with N is population schools in Malaysia. The minimum and maximum is represent the level of SOP compliance certification. In this study, we choose 10% significant with mean 4. That is why we select 10 to 200 randomly from the actual data. Here is the level of certification researcher can use in this study. Scale 1, very dissatisfied. Scale 2, dissatisfied. Scale 3, slightly dissatisfied. 4, neutral. 5, slightly satisfied. 6, satisfied, and lastly scale 7, very satisfied. This level certification is used to make a comparison between the primary and secondary schools.